Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanMuscle.com. Today we're taking a quick look at and installing the Ford Performance Center Instrument Performance Pack Boost Gauge Kit, available for the 2015 newer Mustang GT Performance Packs with forced induction systems installed. Now, if you're the owner of that S550 with a supercharger or a turbocharger, you might be looking for a convenient way to track your boost PSI. Now, that is a very crucial part of owning a forced induction system. You want to know how much boost you're pushing at all times, and this is a great way to keep things OEM. Otherwise, your options are to pick up additional boost gauges or pod pillars, which really can be a nice touch to give you a nice aftermarket look, but if you're interested in keeping things looking like it came off the factory line, this is your absolute best bet, hands down. The really cool thing about this one here is you're retaining your oil pressure on the left here with the addition of that logo, but you're also getting a boost PSI gauge on the right in addition to the vacuum. Now, one of the cool things about this that I really like is that it retains all factory functionalities. The lights all stay the same, just as they did from the OEM look, but it also retains all my color functionalities. That is not something you'd be able to get with an aftermarket boost gauge that'll be separate on your dashboard or an A-pillar or something like that. This retains all of those OEM looks. Now, this one runs just about $250, which might sound high to some guys, but if you're looking to just swap them out and get that same look you had with bigger functionalities for your supercharger or turbo, that's the way to go. The installation here takes about 30, maybe 45 minutes at the most here. Absolutely 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. And if your car's fresh off the factory line, if you've never taken off those plastic trim pieces, you might need an internal trim removal tool. Very simple stuff you can get at a local auto parts store. Even with that in mind, still gets 1 out of 3 wrenches. Now with our car here, it was very simple to take off without that tool, so I'll be showing you guys that method. With that in mind, the only other thing you would need is a T20 Torx bit and a ratchet. I'm going to show you guys that entire process from start to finish, so let's get to it. Tools needed for this install will be a ratchet and a T20 Torx bit, and it is recommended to have a trim removal tool. Now, kicking off this install, we're going to start on our passenger side. So you want to get in your passenger side seating, and we're going to remove this piece of trim right by your kick panel. Once that comes off, it'll allow for your entire dashboard trim to come off. It's really just 2 pieces. No specialty required. Now, your directions will say a trim removal tool will help. I find it easy that you don't even really need one. Now, if yours is brand new and you've never taken this off before, having that trim tool might be useful for you if it's getting a little difficult, but by hand, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. So what we're gonna do is start here with this piece of trim. We're gonna pry off on the top here, and it'll release a clip, come back down to the bottom, release another clip, and from there, you'll see it starts to peel off. So really, it's these white clips that snap into place inside those trim panels. So once we have this done, we can set that on the floor. We're gonna do the same thing for this corner. Peel off, and it snaps clips all along this side. Pops them right off. Now that this side's good, right here, and it releases. The same thing on the inside of here, it's lined with yellow clips. Now, I know it's tough to see, but this wire coming out of the dashboard connects to your factory gauges here. It's 1 pinch, and you unplug it. That clip's coming off right in the center of the factory gauges. As you can see, you just pinch the bottom and pull it straight back and you're good. Now we're gonna take this whole factory trim panel over to the table and transfer over to our new Ford Performance boost gauges. Taking a look at the differences between our Ford Performance boost gauge cluster kit versus the actual factory one, there isn't a ton of differences. Obviously, there is a functionality difference between actually tracking your boost PSI, but from the factory, you're actually looking a lot like the OEM gauges here. As you can see, those OEM gauges do feature those white and black striped lines at the bottom and top of each gauge. Difference being, our new one is going to have a vacuum boost on the right and that same oil pressure PSI gauge on the left. Now, one thing that I do think is cool is the oil pressure gauge stays the same 100% functionality-wise, but when it comes to the actual visuals, you are now getting that oil pressure logo embedded right into the materials there. So that is a really cool feature that adds to the aesthetic aspect of your gauge look. Now, when it comes to the vacuum and boost gauge, as you can see, there is definitely a big difference in what it tracks, going from 30 to 0 back to 30 for your boost, whereas your factory one goes from 25 to 0 from left to right. Installing this is very, very simple stuff. We're gonna flip this around, and we're just gonna be removing this white trim. Completely identical, so the installation is gonna be exactly the same as the way we take this off. I'm gonna use here a T20 Torx bit. We're gonna remove 2 screws from the top, 2 from the bottom, pop it off, use those factory hardware to get our Ford Performance option in place. So let's get them off. With all 4 of those removed, we can swap out our old one, put our new one right into that location. You just want to get them nice and hand tight. You don't want to over torque these. As you can see, I'm not even using the ratchet, I'm just using the Torx bit by hand because that's how little pressure you want to put on these tiny Torx bit screws. All right, from here we can take this whole thing back into the car and repeat that installation process in reverse order. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do for the reinstallation here is plug in our connector. Now that factory connector is gonna go right into that factory location here on our new gauge cluster. Once you have that snapped in place, feed this up into the dashboard and snap it on, starting from the driver's side gauge cluster through the middle, back to the outside. Once that's secured in place, you can grab your kick panel trim, install it right on the bottom here. And you'll hear that snap into place. Now you're good to go. That's gonna wrap up my review and install of the Ford Performance Center Instrument Performance Pack Boost Gauge Cluster Kit, available for the 15 to 18 Mustang GTs with the Performance Pack and a forced induction system installed. So you can pick your kit up right here at AmericanMuscle.com.